Welcome to the deep dive.
Today, we're diving into a feed that's just buzzing. We've got some high-stakes tech drama, a bit of international tension, and, well, a really stark story about healthcare access hitting right at the top.
Yeah, it's quite a mix. Our job, as always, is to sort through this flood of posts, articles, and notes. We're looking for the fault lines, the connections. Let's get straight into it.
Okay.
We have to start with this Scott Adams health situation. It really shows the power, maybe the necessity now, of public visibility.
It's a tough one. He has metastasized prostate cancer, and I guess the real kicker here is that his provider, Kaiser Northern California, they approved the treatment he needs, a Pluvicto infusion.
Approved it. And Pluvicto, I mean, this isn't some experimental long shot,
Nope.
right? The VISION trials showed it boosts survival significantly.
Exactly. We're talking something like a 38% improvement for advanced cases. It's a serious, proven therapy, but he couldn't get it. Just administrative delays.
System says yes, paperwork says no, or, well, not yet.
Precisely. Which forced Adams, into this public appeal. He posted on X saying, "On Monday, I will ask President Trump via X to help save my life. I need it."
Wow. Okay, so taking it straight to that level, and the response was fast.
Almost instant. First, you get the political angle. Donald Trump Jr. replied, "Going to make sure that my dad sees this. We're all praying for you. Keep fighting." And he CC'd Kaiser's handle.
Right, putting the pressure on publicly.
But then almost immediately, the medical side it bypassed the politics. A cardiologist at Afshin Armani posted, "Dear at Scott Adams says, I reached out. All medical directors of Kaiser Foundation are now aware of the urgency. No need for at real Donald Trump. We got you."
Just like that.
Yeah.
We got you.
Yeah. Direct action, specialist to specialist, cutting through the red tape because of the public spotlight. The whole thing seemingly got resolved in, hours.
Which is great for Adams, obviously, but, I mean, it leaves you thinking, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
If getting life-saving care that's already approved requires you to be a public figure, maybe appeal to a former president, or have your case go viral, what hope do the average person have?
That's the real takeaway, isn't it? For him, the platform worked. It was literally a lifeline. But for countless others stuck in that same administrative nightmare, they just wait. It's kind of a shocking commentary on healthcare access being tied to, well, fame.
A human solution forced by visibility, fixing a system failure. Okay, speaking of humans and maybe less life or death, but still high-stakes chaos, let's shift to AI.
Right. The OpenAI saga continues. It's this huge tension between, unbelievable financial promises and this growing crisis of confidence in the leadership.
Yeah, Sam Altman's talking about needing, what, $1.25 to $1.4 trillion for infrastructure. The market's betting on that promise.
Huge numbers. But then you see these posts surfacing, like this one from an attorney at Kakashi 111 referencing the Elon Musk lawsuit depositions.
What does it say?
It says, "Sam, whose close colleagues all describe him as a serial liar with a consistent pattern of dishonesty and lying, is the very person the stock market depends on to deliver his promise. I'm concerned."
Oof. That links directly back to Ilya Sutskever's deposition, doesn't it? The consistent pattern of lying.
Right. It does. It suggests that whole boardroom blow-up last year wasn't just some random event. It stemmed from these, really deep-seated accusations about Altman's honesty and management style, creating divisions, apparently.
So the question becomes, does the market care about past behavior if the future promises like world-changing AI and trillions in value?
Well, David Sachs had a great take on this. He basically said, forget the scary future AI for a minute. Right now, it's the humans you have to worry about. The computers just do what they're told.
Yeah, that kind of nails it. The instability isn't the code, it's the C-suite.
Exactly. The deposition details back that up. You had Mira Murati saying Altman pitted people against each other. You had the Anthropic CEO apparently angling to take over research. It's all very human drama. Ego, politics.
All while trying to raise, well, more money than exists in some countries. It's a wild contrast.
And it sets up the other AI giant perfectly while OpenAI is dealing with this internal stuff and massive fundraising.
You got Tesla. Quietly, almost.
Well, maybe not quietly, but differently. A senior staff engineer there at Unitat Sci 1 put it really well. It is often overlooked that there is a 1.4T AI company with positive net income operating multiple gigafactories in the U.S., in-house chip design team, iterating models faster than most.
Right. They're making money. A lot of money, actually. Like $1.4 billion net income in Q3. And they build their own chips, the Dojo chips.
Vertically integrated, profitable, practical application with the cars. It's a very different model from the burn cash until AGI approach.
And they're getting nods from big players too, right? Michael Dell.
Yeah, Michael Dell weighed in pretty strongly. Let him cook. Looking forward to AI5 and beyond. Vote for Elon Musk, and that mention of AI5 is key.
The next-gen chip.
Supposedly a 40x performance jump. So Dell's essentially endorsing Tesla's hardware roadmap, which, seems a lot more stable than some of the leadership drama elsewhere.
Okay, so from boardroom battles to literally the moon, let's talk quantum computing.
Yeah.
Musk had a pretty bold claim.
Yeah, he's looking at the biggest headache for quantum computers. Keeping those qubits stable, they're incredibly sensitive. You need extreme cold, like near absolute zero, to stop them from, decohering, losing their quantum state.
And doing that on Earth is expensive, massive, power-hungry refrigerators.
Exactly. Which brings us to his statement. Quantum computing is best done in the permanently shadowed craters on the moon.
Okay, why the moon?
Well, the logic, laid out by others like at X-Freeze, is pretty compelling. Those permanently shadowed regions, the PSRs, they're naturally freezing cold.
Colder than anything on Earth, naturally.
Yeah. Temperatures can drop below minus 200 Celsius. Constant darkness, no energy fluctuations. It's like a giant natural cryo cooler in a vacuum, basically free cold.
So instead of building billion-dollar fridges on Earth, build the computer where it's already cold.
That's the idea. Solves a huge engineering and cost problem. Makes you rethink what space infrastructure is for.
The moon as a giant server room.
Right.
Wild. Okay, let's come back to Earth with a bump. Shifting gears completely. Nigeria, social media, and international pressure.
Right. This kicked off after a statement from the U.S., specifically Trump on Truth Social around November 1st, hinting at potential military intervention. Something about guns a-blazing over alleged Christian persecution.
Okay, a major external threat. And the reaction inside Nigeria.
Well, that's where it gets interesting. According to some posts, this threat seemed to galvanize local officials into action, or at least saying they were taking action, which led to a lot of cynicism.
Like this post from At the Smalley. It captures that mood, right?
Perfectly. They wrote, "Small guns a-blazing, way Trump talk, all the government officials start to tweet say, dim to work. So you people know the right things to do. I hate this country so much, man."
Wow. So the feeling is, the government only acts when there's a massive outside threat, not because of the ongoing internal problems, like the attacks happening in Kaduna and Plateau.
That seems to be the sentiment, yeah. That they know what needs doing, but only external pressure forces their hand. It's a really raw commentary on accountability.
A failure of governance felt locally. Okay, let's look at a different kind of disconnect, maybe a failure of memory. This story of generational divides in the U.S.
Yeah, Richard Hanaya shared this anecdote. It's about a Chinese woman who, back in 1976, swam for 8 hours to escape communism. Made it, built a life. Her sons went to Cornell, MIT.
Sounds like the classic immigrant success story.
But the irony, as Hanania frames it, is that her highly educated sons now support democratic socialist politicians like Zohran Mamdani. The mother, having lived through collectivism, sees it as a disaster.
While the sons, growing up in relative American comfort, see it as a solution to modern inequality.
Pretty much. They lack that direct historical trauma. Their critique is aimed at capitalism's current flaws, not the historical reality their mother fled. She apparently just can't comprehend how that lived experience gets lost so quickly.
History's lessons fading in just one generation. It's stark.
And speaking of stark contrasts, especially economic ones, there was this quick exchange that really highlights global disparity.
Yeah, the one involving Uganda and Kenya.
Exactly. Someone posted about something costing 35,000 Ugandan shillings. Then a Kenyan user at Lilac Wash jumped in. "Next time, attach your country's flag to your username. Here in my country, 35K is a whole year's school fees."
We get out of here. So 35K Ugandan is like, what, 10 US dollars?
Yeah, maybe enough for some fancy banana bread, as the original post might have implied.
But 35K Kenyan shillings, that's closer to $270 USD.
Enough for a year of school fees in some rural areas there. It just instantly slams home how much value can differ, how much context matters, all triggered by a missing flag emoji.
Incredible. Okay, let's pivot to some broader takes on systems in decay. Naval Ravikant had one of his classic aphorisms.
Always concise, Naval, he posted. "If it starts with the word public, it's probably in decay."
Huh. Okay, unpack that a bit. It sounds like the tragedy of the commons idea.
That's exactly it. The economic theory that shared resources, things owned by the public, tend to get neglected because no single person feels responsible. Distributed responsibility becomes zero ownership, leading to decay. Public schools, public parks, public housing. You can see his point, even if it's a generalization.
A cynical take, but maybe with a grain of truth about incentives. And connecting to institutional shifts, there was that chart Michael Arrouet highlighted.
Oh, that chart is stunning.
Yeah.
At Michael Arrouet said, that's probably one of the most amazing charts about the U.S. ever. How did it happen?
What did it show again?
It showed the rate of institutionalization in the U.S., people confined in institutions. Back in 1955, it was dominated by mental hospitals, about 760 adults per 100,000.
Okay.
By 2001, that number for mental hospitals drops almost to zero.
So deinstitutionalization worked. People got better.
Well, no, the total rate of institutionalization stayed roughly the same. What happened was the prison population exploded, rising to about 450 per 100,000 by 2001.
So we just swapped one institution for another, mental hospitals for prisons.
Largely, yes. The plan in the 60s and 70s was to move people from psychiatric hospitals into community care, but the funding for that community care never really materialized.
And then the war on drugs kicked in.
Exactly, starting in the 80s. So you had vulnerable people, often with untreated mental illness, ending up on the streets and then swept into the criminal justice system. We basically criminalized mental illness and addiction.
Didn't solve the problem, just changed the label and arguably made outcomes worse.
That's the argument, yeah. Accelerating homelessness, cycles of incarceration.
Grim stuff. Okay, on a slightly more optimistic note, maybe depending on your portfolio, Bitcoin. Michael Saylor sent a signal.
A very Saylor signal. Short, cryptic, and orange. He just posted, orange is the color of November.
Orange, the color of Bitcoin, hinting at more buying.
That's how people are reading it. MicroStrategy, his company, has bet the farm on Bitcoin, billions invested. So him signaling bullishness for November, even after some market wobbles, is basically him saying, we're still all in, maybe even doubling down.
Sticking to this strategy. Okay, let's wrap with a couple of quick hits from sports and culture. Football first. Pep Guardiola taking a shot.
Yeah. And Fabrizio Romano caught this quote from him about Arsenal's defense. Hopefully Arsenal can concede one goal one day, right?
That's pretty funny. Why the jab?
Because Arsenal had just gone through the entire month of October, winning 6 straight league games without letting in a single goal, which is, historic. So Pep, whose team is chasing them, is feeling the heat and throwing a little shade.
Acknowledging their strength while hoping it breaks. Classic manager games.
And then something for the creative types.
Yeah. At Cura Design highlighted what they called the $0 creative stack.
Meaning free software.
Exactly. Pointing to the rise of really powerful, free, often open-source tools like Affinity Designer, Krita for painting, and especially Blender for 3D work. Blender's huge now, isn't it?
Massive. Apparently over 10 million monthly users. It shows there's a serious alternative now to the expensive subscription software from, the big guys.
Democratizing the tools. That's cool. And there was one more quick one about getting into AI research.
Oh, right. That anecdote about a meta AI researcher didn't have the typical PhD path, studied physics, taught himself AI, watching online videos from people like Karpathy and Eng, bought a GPU, started experimenting, got published.
So pure curiosity and drive still counts, even at the highest levels.
Seems like it. In these really fast-moving fields like AI, maybe that raw agency and ability to self-teach can still sometimes trump traditional credentials, which is, pretty encouraging.
Definitely. An empowering note to end on.
So yeah, that was a whirlwind from quantum labs potentially on the moon down to governance issues in Nigeria and the $0 creative suite.
The feed moves fast. It really connects global finance, tech breakthroughs, political pressure, and these deeply personal stories like Scott Adams' health battle.
And that Adams case really does tie a lot of this together, doesn't it? The system failing, but this intense real-time visibility forcing a solution.
Yeah. So here's the thought we want to leave you with today, kind of building on that. We saw bureaucracy stall life-saving care that was already approved. But we also saw public pressure massively amplified by X, force action almost instantly from politicians and the healthcare provider.
So the question is,
does this hyperspeed, real-time visibility we have now on these platforms, does it actually function as a new kind of check and balance? Maybe the ultimate check and balance in a crisis, capable of just overriding the slow, grinding gears of traditional government and corporate systems.
Something to chew on as you navigate those systems yourself. We'll be back next time to dive into the sources again.